we are in the presence of a celebrity right now. This is
We are.
She did the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray and Jeep.
That's it right there.
This is it. This is the one that started it all.
You planned that.
No, I didn't, but yeah, that's cool.
Could we be in line for something funny to come out of the mouth?
Just might happen. What a little key.
She's the best.
Everyone deserves to feel their best. Everyone deserves to move their best and not have pain.
I'm a little upset that Ben got like 2 inches taller because he's already tall, dark, and handsome enough.
Culture is something we think about like all the time at Strookies. You know, we're all coming from different cultures.
Our comments have exploded through the roof. So there you go.
Good afternoon and welcome to Lancaster Connects. Here we are, Monday afternoon on the 2nd of October. The calendar has flipped. Lancaster Connects is the show that highlights great people and great things and great organizations going on in Lancaster County and sometimes beyond. We've got a great guest today. We've got some things to talk about, some new things that we're doing with Lancaster Connects that we're very excited about. I'm joined right now with my co-host, Jeff Giannakko. Jeff, would you like to say hello? No? Okay. So obviously this is not Jeff. You see that. We'll get to what this is at the end of our guest interview. We'll talk about what this gift basket is here. Jeff was here today. Unfortunately, Jeff had something going on with his eye, maybe scratched something or other with his eyeball. So he had to go get checked out. I told him he could wear a patch for the show, but he didn't want to be a pirate today. So we wish him well. Hopefully he gets his eye fixed and he gets back to normal. So I'm flying solo today. My name is Ben McClure, and here we are, Lancaster Connects. You can watch this great show. I think it's great. Hopefully a few people think it's great as well. You can watch this show on the Lancaster Connects and Gardner's Mattress and More Facebook pages, YouTube channels, LinkedIn pages, personal Facebook pages, and whatnot. I see we've got some viewers already. Acorn Acres there. We saw Acorn Acres in the little preview or what do you call that? The intro roll. Acorn Acres has the woodchuck, the famous woodchuck from the Super Bowl commercial a couple years ago, and super fan Jonna Green, and in fact Jonna knows our guest. I won't say who our guest is yet, but got a great interview coming up. Don't want to miss it here. So thank you all for tuning in and commenting as you always do. This is kind of a special episode. We've grown. Lancaster Connects is almost in its third year of being a thing, being a podcast. Jeff and I started this podcast in 2021 as a way for us as Gardner's Mattress and More co-owners of Gardner's, giving back to the community. And, like I said in the intro, shining a light on great organizations and great people who give back to the Lancaster community, this great community that we live in. And, we've grown. We're in our 113th episode, which is fantastic. And we now have a sponsor. So each month we will have a different sponsor. And this episode and this month's sponsor is Whiff Roasters. Whiff Roasters, we had Keith Fry, one of the owners of Whiff Roasters, on the show. There's Keith and his wife. We had them on the show months back. It was a great episode. They had one of the funniest moments of the show was in that intro video, and I forget exactly which episode it was, but it was a great episode. You got to go back and see that moment. But Whiff Roasters is a company that we've highlighted here at Gardner's. We give away their little portion packs, which is just a little a pot of coffee. I'll hold it up there, a little pot of coffee, and we give that away to our customers as a thank you to our customers for making a purchase. So we've talked about Whiff Roasters here. We support their business, and now for the month of October, they are supporting Lancaster Connect. So this is really, really great for them to be our inaugural? I can't even say that word, sponsor of Lancaster Connect for the month of October. So just a little bit about Whiff Roasters. They are Lidditz hometown coffee roasters. They want us to know that not all coffees are created equal, and I think that I agree with that. Roasting premier coffee is an art that they have mastered over time. Since 1999, Whiff Roasters is proud to be a local favorite for specialty coffees. We give away their portion packs to our customers. We say there's some Whiff Roasters coffee in the bag, and we have a number of people mention like, oh, I love Whiff Roasters, they're my favorite. So their uniqueness is simple. They set a high standard for bean quality, freshness, and roast, which allows them to consistently produce incredible coffee bag after coffee bag and cup after cup. So I always have a coffee during the show. I was talking to Chris in the open, I get up super early. I go to the gym, and about the middle of the afternoon, like 2-3 o'clock, I start to crash. And I was yawning on the pre-show. He's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "Well, I got my coffee here, so I got my Whiff Roasters coffee. In fact, I am doing. I'm drinking their pumpkin pecan from their K-Cup. Of course, they have whole beans and ground and K-Cups, and of course these portion packs. It's pumpkin spice season, so they have, as part of their sponsorship, they've been generous enough to give us a bunch of portion packs. And as you see, it's the pumpkin spice flavor there. There it is there on the screen, pumpkin pecan. They have it in a number of different options there, decaf and whatnot. But for anybody that comes to Gardner's, visits, whatever, makes a purchase, don't make a purchase, just want to come by and say hello, anybody that comes by Gardner's can get a free pumpkin spice Whiff Roasters portion pack. Limited quantities. I think I've only got maybe 50 here, so they could go in a day or two. Who knows? But anybody that comes in the month of October, we've got these portion packs provided by Whiff Roasters. I can attest pumpkin pecan is great. I don't mind pumpkin spice. In fact, I embrace pumpkin spice and like it. So all you pumpkin spice haters, don't come in, whatever, but don't get your portion back. But I embrace it. I like it. So thank you to Whiff Roasters for being our first sponsor. So glad to have you on board there. All right. Without further ado, we're going to bring on our guest. She is joining via phone today. We've got Pam Witwer. Hello, Pam.
Hi, Ben. How are you
Hey,
today?
I'm good, Pam. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. So, Pam, you represent Lancaster PA Notary, a company that you started and founded, right?
Yes, that's correct.
That is correct. All right. So we'll get into all the great things that you do with your business. We'll talk to you about why you started your notary business and the type of customers that you love to serve. But just a quick icebreaker question. If we like to get to know our guests a little bit before we do the interview and after we do the interview. Summer just wrapped up. Summer's always a busy time. Sometimes we travel and do things. Do you have any? Did you have any favorite memory from this past summer, or something that you did, or a place that you traveled to? Anything you'd like to share there?
Oh, sure. Yeah, we celebrated my brother-in-law's birthday this summer by going to see Dave Matthews Band at the PNC Arts Center in New Jersey. Yeah, so that was my big, lots of business things going on this summer, but that was my big fun thing that we did for the summer.
So that's cool. So you went with a big group of people?
Yeah, I think there was 11 or 12 of us that went.
That's
It was
awesome.
a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah. Man, Dave Matthews Band. I remember seeing Dave Matthews Band in like the early 2000s. I think Hershey and maybe even that where you were was in Camden, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Of course, back then, 20 plus years ago, it was called something different. I think that venue has changed names multiple times. What was it? A good show?
It was excellent, and I hadn't seen them in over 2 decades. And they were just as good, good.
That's awesome. I mean, they're one of those bands that knows how to put on a great live performance and get the crowd involved, so that's awesome that you got the opportunity to take a big group there and do that. That's cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
Are you a concert goer? Do you like live music and going to concerts?
I like it, but I'm getting older, and crowds and loud music aren't my friends anymore.
Well, that's, I kind of feel the same way, like if I can go to a concert and I can have a seat to sit in, that's preferable to like standing in a crowd of people. And same thing. Yeah. I don't want to stand like this with, no place to move. And, I got to dance a
Yes.
little bit. Right. So gotta have my
Same,
space. So,
same.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, that's awesome. So let's dig into, Lancaster PA Notary and a little bit about your background. You actually have a vast background across a number of different industries. Can you give us a brief overview of how your career has evolved to this point?
Yeah, sure. Well, let me just start off. So when I was a senior in high school, my high school business teacher, he would take his senior business students on a field trip to Harrisburg to take the civil service exam. And so I went on that trip. I took the exam for clerk typist, and I started with the state government when I was 17 years old.
Wow.
And other than taking a few years off for starting my family, I had almost 30 years of service with state government and worked in various state agencies throughout the Commonwealth.
And so were you in Harrisburg then?
Mostly, yes, mostly Harrisburg. But I worked for different offices. I worked under Governor Ridge's first term.
Okay.
I worked for the Public School Employees Retirement System, the Office of Inspector General, and then the last agency that I was with was the Pennsylvania Board of Probation and Parole.
Okay. So you did a number of different things within the state government.
I did. And the nice thing about state government is you don't necessarily need a degree to advance. You can use your experience from a next lower class. So I was able to really advance into higher level administrative positions just because of the work that I had done in previous positions. So it was really nice in that way.
And was there a position that you held within the state government that you liked better than all the rest?
Yeah, I really loved my last position that I held with the Board of Probation and Parole. I administratively oversaw a firearm education and safety program for adult and juvenile probation officers. So when new officers were hired out in the counties throughout Pennsylvania, my office would put on basic training programs for the new hires. And it would be a 6-week basic training program, 4 weeks in the classroom and 2 weeks out on the range. And I was responsible for securing the hotel for the classroom training, making hotel reservations, lining up the trainers, taking care of the shooting range. We had a partnership with the Palmyra Sportsmen's Association. So it was a very physical job, but I loved the fact that I was able to interact with probation officers from all over Pennsylvania. I love meeting new people. And so that was my favorite position with the Commonwealth for that reason, because I really got involved, A, with something really different that I'd never done before, and B, because I love meeting new people.
That's great. So you worked in state government for, I think you said 30 plus years. What was your decision point to move out of state government and into the notary business? What was there a moment or a kind of a purpose for doing that?
Well, it wasn't a moment, Ben. It actually it happened. I retired from the state in 2016. I had some medical things going on, and I had a little bit of a longer recovery than expected. But after I recovered, I needed something to do with my time. So I kind of became my son and his friend's chauffeur, taking them back and forth to band practices and things like that then he got his license and he didn't need me anymore. So I needed something else to do with my time.
Those
and
kids,
I got
they need-
yes, I got a part-time job driving school van for special needs kids.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be one of the most rewarding and fun jobs I ever had.
That's cool.
The kids were just amazing. And I just met so many awesome people, the teachers at the schools, the kids' parents. I haven't driven school van for 3 years now, and I'm still in touch with several of the kids' parents on Facebook. So it was just a really special bunch of kids, and I loved the work that I did there. But then the pandemic hit, I got laid off.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, to keep myself out of trouble, I joined a local sewist group, and we were making masks for donation to frontline workers, first responders, and childcare facilities. So I personally sewed 585 children's and adults masks that we donated.
Wow.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Again, I got to be involved in the community, even though I wasn't really able to see people in person and interact with them on a one-on-one one-to-one kind of basis.
Right.
But that was a really fun and rewarding experience. I loved doing that. So then I started doing some babysitting in my neighborhood, and then that led to me being a nanny for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
And then after raising my own kids, decided that it was time for me to do something different.
Yeah.
And my husband saw a video on YouTube about being a mobile notary, and we'd never heard of it before. So together, the two of us I call him my silent partner. He's my techie. Right. He's my techie guy and my my on-call help desk.
Right.
Whenever I have some trouble. So yeah. So he really helped me to with all the technological stuff, but then all the research on what I needed to do to become a notary, the kind of education I was going to need, all the other insurance requirements, all that. That was kind of my thing. So this video that he saw on YouTube had talked about notary as a mobile notary as a side hustle.
Okay.
And I looked at him and I said, I don't want to do this as a side hustle. I think I could really make this a business.
Yeah, you saw.
And he said, well,
awesome.
I saw the potential for it. Yeah. And he said, well, if we're going to do this, then let's go all in. So that's what we did. And in his role, I call him Mr. Lancaster PA Notary. In his role, he was doing some market research and found out that there was quite a number of mobile notaries in the area, and that I would need to find something that was going to make me stand out in a sea of mobile notaries. And what I had decided on was becoming a 24/7 mobile notary. And the reason I did that comes from my love and my respect and my commitment to the elderly people in my community. And my thought process is that, someone's loved one is in a medical crisis and they don't have their power of attorney or their will or their healthcare power of attorney, important documents like that. They don't have those in place, or they need to make changes to those important documents. And time is of the essence. They can't wait until the morning when a notary office opens. And also they're in a medical crisis. They aren't in any position physically to be transported to a notary's office to have these documents done. So that's why I decided to make my business a 24/7, so that I could serve not just the elderly community, but anybody in that kind of a crisis, and their families. That's kind of how it came to be.
I had never thought about it like that. Yeah, normally, I mean, you reach a certain age, you have children, things happen in your life, you have certain documents and things in place, living will and whatnot, and you just get it done, with an attorney or whatever. But yeah, if you're in a crisis, a medical crisis, and you need a change made, like, what do you do? And
Yes. Well, Ben,
you solved that.
you and I discovered this morning when I stopped in to meet you and to drop off the cookies, we discovered, I didn't remember, and I do apologize. There it is. There it is. You and I had met several months ago at a mixer, and you were sitting next to me. And while we were doing our speed networking, I had said that I was 24/7. And after we all did our little 30-second commercials, we had some extra time left over, and you leaned over to me and you said, why would somebody need a notary in the middle of the night?
Right.
And when I told you exactly what I just explained about someone being in medical crisis, I saw the light bulb go off in your head.
Yep.
And you got it at that moment.
So how did you discover that this service was so needed? Not only, the 24/7 thing, but also for seniors in particular. Was there a situation that came up that, you had to help someone work through, and that was like, oh, that's the niche, that's the people and the time frame that I can serve best?
Not necessarily. There was a need for mobile notaries. Mobile notary, I don't know if you'd say industry, but it exploded during the pandemic when there was still the need for loan signing services for real estate transactions and other notary needs, not just loan signings. And so mobile notaries were very much in demand. 3 years ago. So not everybody, but a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon, became a notary, wanted to start their mobile notary business. Things are a lot different now. Mobile notaries, a lot of their work is tied to how the real estate market is performing. And we all know how that is right now. So notaries have had to find a way to diversify, especially mobile notaries. But I just felt that if this is something that I wanted to do, and I wanted to, like my husband said, go all in, and I wanted to put my heart into it and my soul into it, my time, take time away from my family, I wanted it to be meaningful for me. And so as I was thinking about, making it 24/7 and just thinking about things that were important to me and what I wanted to accomplish, I always just kept coming back to senior citizens in my community and individuals who are medically fragile, and it's not easy for them to get out. Maybe they have to carry oxygen with them, or they use a walker. Clients like that, it's difficult for them to get out. Sometimes it's difficult to find a ride. So I just saw it as an opportunity to not only start a business, but to serve the community that means so much to me. And it comes from my heart. And it started with my grandmother. She was very important in my life. She actually raised me from the time I was 18 months old. And she was already 65 years old by the time I started living with her.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
She was no spring chicken. She was no spring chicken. She was an amazing woman. She died 21 years ago. I was pregnant with my oldest son. And yeah, I miss her every day. I think about her every day. I think a lot about her more now, I think, because of what I'm doing and how I just feel like her spirit, it sounds kind of hokey to say, but I just feel like her spirit is kind of working through me and what I'm doing. And getting to meet people through my niche mobile notary business has led me to meet people in my community like Fran Gibbons of the Alzheimer's Association of Greater PA, and other people who, they're with organizations that are close to my heart. So I want to volunteer my time with them. I want to be involved with them. So I feel like this whole thing has been a win-win. I feel like I'm building a successful business, but I'm also I'm connecting with organizations in my community that are important to me. And some of them, I didn't even know that they were important to me.
Right.
When you get to different stages in your life and you reevaluate. So at this point in my life, I just really enjoy being involved in these community organizations where I'm able to impact the older community.
That's fantastic. It's a great story about your grandmother and how she raised you and how important she was to you and is to you. I bet when you're working with a senior, you're probably picturing like you're talking to your grandmother. You're going to give your service, your expertise, your knowledge, whatever, to your client, the person you're working with, as if she was, or this person was your grandmother. I bet that's how you look at it. Is that right?
That's exactly right, Ben. I actually have a very sweet couple who I only met when I first started my business, which I started 6 months ago. And they've had cause to use my services on 4 different occasions for various reasons.
Sure.
And it's so sweet. They affectionately call me their notary. They got a phone call while I was there for one of our appointments, and the mistress said, "Oh, I can't call you, but I have to call you back. My notary is here." And the mister has some issues with his vision and some tremors in his hand. And I sat right next to him. I got special pens for my older clients that are more ergonomic and easier for them to use if they have arthritis or any other issues with their hands. So he has not only the hand, but the eye. So he had, I had a little signature guide in my bag that I also got from my older clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sat right next to him and just told him where to go. I put it right where he was supposed to start writing, and just held the guide along the paper so that he could tell where he was signing.
Yeah.
And after I was done, he just put his hand on my hand and said, "You're so patient, and I just really appreciate that." And Ben, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I just feel just so deep in my heart for older people. I think of my grandmother all of the time when I'm with an older client, or I have an interaction with an older person at the grocery store. And my oldest son, he kind of gets a little annoyed with me. He's 21, and Mom, why do you have to always talk to everybody? Why do you always have to talk to strangers in line at the grocery store? And I'm like, you just never know. You just take that one opportunity, 30 seconds, to just tell someone to have a nice day or hello or whatever. And that's why I do it. It's just that easy, that simple.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your story of your grandmother. I think that's fantastic. It's incredibly smart and moving, really, what you've done and do for the seniors. Like we've often thought like seniors are our kind of target customers in a lot of ways. Folks that are 55 and over, they have severe body needs for a new mattress, back pain and whatnot. And a lot of our marketing, our Sleep Better book, our free guides and educational information was written as if we were writing to a senior, or in our heads, writing to our parents or grandparents. How can we write this in a way that they would understand. So we've always kind of had that in our marketing brain, writing to the older generation, making sure that, we're not using terms and terminology that are, we understand that they might not understand. And of course, our process here, not to talk about, to turn this to a gardener's thing, but gardener's commercial, but like, we allow people the time, and that's exactly what you're doing with like that story you had with the man and his signature. You took the time to make sure he was able to do it and take the time he needed to do it. And we're the same way here. We'll take as much time as it takes over multiple visits to make sure we're providing the best service, and ultimately, happy morning wake up. So, signing documents is not necessarily a fun thing that somebody has to do. It has to be done when it has to be done, and you're providing an opportunity for them to be able to do it conveniently. But yeah, it's not necessarily fun that somebody has to sign off on certain things, but you're making it not only fun but convenient for them, and I think that's fantastic. Really is.
And let me also just mention, Ben, that as notaries, we're on the front lines of fraud prevention. Notaries screen signers to confirm their identities, and we have all heard the stories of scammers trying to get over on elderly people, and boy, does that makes me angry. So this is especially near and dear to my heart for that reason. Making sure that somebody's estate documents are in order, and you don't have some family member who's trying to come out of the woodwork and take something that's not lawfully theirs, or they're not supposed to have. You know what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
Just trying to prevent that, taking advantage of senior citizens.
And that's so important right now. I mean, we all probably know somebody or possibly multiple people who have in that, older generation bracket who have had either some sort of fraud, bank fraud, or some sort of identity theft or whatnot.
Yes.
So to know that you can help seniors work through and make sure that they have the proper documentation and ducks in a row, if you will. That's really powerful. I want to know. I want to ask, how do seniors find you? So, like you shared the example, let's say somebody's in this medical crisis. It's the middle of the night. They need some documentation notarized. How do they find you? And what does that process look like? They say they're in, Quarryville, Pennsylvania, and you're like in bed. What does that look like?
Well, that's a really great question. And since you mentioned Quarryville, shout out to my friends at the Southern Lancaster Chamber, including John Green. Whoop, whoop.
Fan.
John is one of my biggest fans. So there's actually different ways. There she is, the queen herself. There's actually different ways that people can find me, Ben. One of the things that's really important to me, being a mobile traveling notary, is the connections with my community. Mm-hmm. It's very important to me to form partnerships and relationships with people in my community that will refer me to organizations who could use my services, because we all know that when you want to refer people that you trust. So I've met people like, Fran from the Alzheimer's Association, and my friend Annette Kroek from Lancaster Senior Outreach Services, which is a Facebook group that brings different nonprofits, individuals, companies together who are committed to outreach for the senior community. So I've gotten introductions to a lot of different organizations in the Lancaster community that would refer me out to their clients, such as I can't even think of anybody. Of course, the Alzheimer's Association would be a big one. So when they hear of somebody who might have a special need and they could use my services, but then it's also a lot of it's on me for marketing. 6 months in business, there's a lot going on. I have lots of things that I'm juggling. So marketing myself to hospitals in the area, nursing homes, rehab facilities, hospice care, anything like that, day facilities for seniors, anywhere that they could use my services where I can come to them and make it more convenient for them to get all of their important documents notarized.
That's awesome. Yeah. Kudos to you. I know you're kind of like the self-proclaimed, what did I write down here? Networking queen, right? And I think Jonna even called it out there. Yeah, Matt, you're a master networker. Like you mentioned, I met you at the Referral Partners Plus RPP networking group, within the last year. And I know over the weekend you were traveling, maybe doing some additional notary learning, right? But you probably
yes, that's
networking
correct
there as well. But
yes,
yeah,
yes.
Chris has been showing photos of you at
Yes.
the Alzheimer's event and all kinds of other events. And every once in a while, we see the happy picture of the cookies come up here.
The famous smiley face cookie.
So like,
Yeah,
let's
I think
say
I'm.
So yeah,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's fine. You dropped off a basket of these cookies here. We'll dig into them
Yes.
and put them out. But I'm assuming when you go to some of these facilities, the hospitals and whatnot, you're bringing a basket of your cookies, right?
Well, I try not to give them to some of my older clients because some of them may have health concerns and the sugar
sure.
might not be a good idea.
Yeah.
I do save my cookies for when I'm visiting companies that I would like to partner with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when I'm out networking with people, these ladies here are from my ABWA group.
Okay.
I had met most of them for the first time and wanted them to have a cookie. I joke and I say that I'm more famous for my smiley face cookies than my notary services. But this picture here was at the Northern Chambers Business Expo a couple of months ago. And I didn't have a lot of swag like a lot of other companies who have a bigger budget and more established than me, but I wanted to have something to go with my business card. So my friend is a home baker, and I said, could you make me some cookies? And she gave me a really good price, and I couldn't think of what design, and I thought, well, I like to spread cheer and happiness and smiley faces wherever I go. So I said, just make me a smiley face cookie. And so now they're kind of like my signature swag item.
That's so perfect. And that picture that Chris just had on the screen that explains you so well. I feel like you've mastered marketing in that standpoint. You reference the fact that people know you for your cookies and the fact that you show up and you're at all these different events and you donate your time. Like, people know you and they trust you. They know you're reliable. And that's what being a notary, especially a 24/7 notary, is all about. Signing the documents, like doing the notary stuff. I mean, obviously that needs to get done, but people are referring you. They're not necessarily referring the service, right? They know, like, and trust you, and that's so important. I love that. That's so
yes.
Cool.
That is correct. And if somebody calls me in the middle of the night, because like I said, we talked about the medical crisis, they want somebody who's going to show up and be compassionate and not rush the transaction.
Right.
So you want somebody who's going to have those qualities, and just be very aware, read the room of what's going on with the family. Sometimes it's very somber. Sometimes it's more of a celebration, just kind of depending on how the family looks at it. So you have to be able to, just like I said, read the room, discern how to conduct yourself accordingly, and just always have compassion. And I try to leave my clients feeling better about themselves and life than when I came into their lives.
Yeah.
So, but I learned a lot growing up with my grandmother. She took care of me, and then as I grew up and she got older, then the roles were kind of reversed, where I took care of her and I was with her at the end of her life when she was in hospice care. And I was pregnant at the time, so it was a very emotional and spiritual connection that I had with her, to be with her at the end of her life as I was bringing a life into the world. And it was just a really special time, even though it was very sad that I was losing her. We had such a connection during those last few weeks of her life. And I wouldn't have traded it for anything.
That's great. And
I told you I was going to get a little weepy.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah. That's all right. It's that experience that that makes your business and you what you are today. That I just love that this service exists, and the fact that you focus on seniors, and there's a lot of seniors around in Lancaster County. I think it's one of the most popular, if not the most popular place in the country to retire to.
Yes, that is correct.
It's one of them. So there's no shortage of potential clients, and the more people that you can network with, and the more people that you can provide your notary services for, the better. We'll kind of wrap up our time here in a little bit, but so tell us about the continuing education. Like I referenced, you were at an event this weekend, which I think was a little bit of continuing education. What is it about?
It was.
What is it about the job of being a notary, and the things that you need to keep up with for offering your services? What does that continuing education look like?
Well, you have to take some continuing education every 4 years. That's when you have to renew your commission. But in this climate, this economy, a mobile notary has to learn to diversify their services. So you're not just, notarizing a car title or notarizing a school form. Notaries do a lot of different things. They do fingerprinting services. They do field inspections. They can provide courier services. There's such a thing now as remote online notarization, which became extremely popular during the pandemic. And with remote online notarization, the legal requirement that the signer personally and physically appear before the notary is met by using audiovisual electronic communication technology. So that's become extremely popular. And, moving into, a notary, I just recently received a certification to become a certified notary trust delivery agent, where I can be an extension to an estate planning attorney to travel out to his clients who have issues getting into the office, and I can do the living trust presentation. And let me just clear it up. I don't just service the senior community and mobility challenge. I'm there for the busy mom of 4 who has children under 6 years old that she'd have to throw in the van and try and find a notary and then stand in line. I service all ages, all lifestyles. It's a convenience. So I definitely don't discriminate based on age.
Right. And Chris just showed it on the screen. You go outside of Lancaster County as well, all the surrounding counties.
I do. I'm actually committed to covering Lancaster County and 8 other counties in central Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I haven't done work in all of them, but I'd say probably about half. Most of my work is, of course, centered in Lancaster County, but I'm also in York County and Lebanon County, Berks County. So yeah, I go wherever I'm needed, actually. But going back to the notary conference, I just wanted to explain how important it is for education. You know, if I talked about notaries being on the front lines of identity, identity theft and fraud prevention. So it's really important to stay up to date on the latest things that are going on in the notary industry and how people are trying to commit fraud in all different ways. So it's just, to me, education is really important, not only for diversifying my business, but for keeping on top of things that are happening out there in the world that a notary can help prevent.
Well, and that's so important. You know, there's things that change in today's world and society. I mean, things change more quickly than we can think of ways that it could change,
Yes.
and especially people that are busy, seniors and whatnot. There's not enough time in the day to pay attention to everything. And, if you can help them prevent some of those hurdles, if you will, that's a great service to be able to offer, kind of like an extension of what you do. So I love the fact that you are actively doing that community or continuing education and then transferring that knowledge to your clients. That's fantastic.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so we'll kind of wrap up our time with Lancaster PA Notary. Is there anything, we're kind of wrapping up 2023 here in a few months. Anything on the horizon for your business going into 2024? Anything that you're looking to do there?
Oh my goodness. Well, I can't believe it's been 6 months already. It seems like
Yeah.
it's been much longer than that. So yeah, I mean, I have some goals for myself. Being at this notary convention over the weekend really invigorated me and gave me some renewed motivation and lots of ideas. I was able to connect and network with notaries from all over the United States. Many notaries that I've known on Facebook for months, and just knew them from Zoom calls and their Facebook posts. So it was amazing to meet so many of them in person, and just get ideas, find out what's working well for them in their state, what's not working well. It's just another level of networking, and I love it. I'm a people person, and
I can't tell.
was amazing.
I can't tell, Pam.
Yeah. Yeah, you silly.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, always be learning, right? So that's
Always.
fantastic that you were able to get out and connect and I mean, kudos to you for 6 months of getting started and getting out there and defining who you are and the type of clients that you serve. And I wish you nothing but success in 2024 and beyond. And this was fantastic to get to talk to you about what you do and who you serve there.
Thank you, Ben. I really appreciate the opportunity
Yeah.
to come on and talk to you and your listeners and viewers. And you enjoy those Lancaster PA Notary cookies with your Whippers roasters
with
coffee.
roasters. Yep, we will. And Pam, you've got a number of fans that have shared their love. There's Acorn Acres, who Jana was on here multiple times saying,
yes,
I think hostess or not hostess, notary with the mostest was said. So there you got some love from Nate there. Nate, I know, listens often and comments. So usually we wrap up our time with the guest with some questions just to get to know you a little bit better. You ready for Connection Cocktail?
Absolutely.
All right.
Bring it on.
So, yeah, here we go. What are you? First, are you a reader or a watcher of TV, or a little bit of both? Do you have
Watcher.
watcher? Okay, so
Yeah, I'm a
what
watcher.
what are you watching right now?
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank. Okay. Well, when you first said
Shark
Shark,
Tank.
but I first went to like you're watching shark videos, but no, Shark Tank, the show Shark Tank. Okay, yeah. So some people love Shark Week, right? My brain went when you said shark. That's where my brain went. But yeah, Shark Tank. That's a great show. Love it. Love it.
Yes.
So if money and time were no object, what would you be doing right now? Do you have like this thing that would you go ahead?
Yeah, adopting all the dogs.
Okay, all of them.
All of them. All of them. I'm a huge lover of senior dogs. I don't know.
Okay.
There seems to be a common theme here with my love of seniors,
Yeah.
senior people and senior dogs. So yeah, I would take in all of the dogs, all of the mobility challenge dogs, and I would just open up a big farm and just love on them all.
That's awesome. Are you a dog owner now?
I am. I have 3 senior dogs.
Okay. Okay. And
One's blind and deaf, so she's a challenge, but I love her.
Okay. Oh yeah. Well, I mean that just shows your heart right there. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thanks.
So last question, if you could, this is a tough one. If you could pick up a new skill in an instant, what would it be and why? Oh, look at is that your dog?
Those are my dogs.
Sorry for interrupting, but there they are. Oh,
No, that's
cutie.
okay. The one on the left is my blind and deaf one.
Okay, yeah. Oh,
And she's about 14 years old, and then
yeah,
Sherman
wow.
and Nacho are on the right, and they're about 12.
Awesome. How do you get the name Nacho as a dog?
Well, when we adopted him from the shelter, his name was Romeo, and I was just like, Romeo, that's so dumb. It didn't he didn't look like a Romeo. I don't know. I just didn't like it. So we took like a Facebook quiz on how to name your dog, and it came up with a bunch of suggestions, and my husband and I like Mexican food, so Nacho was one of the suggestions.
Hey.
We're like, hey, he looks like a nacho.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So what would your skill be if you could pick any skill in an instant?
Oh, I'd love to learn to sing.
Oh, interesting. That's cool. Hey, there's still time.
Yeah.
There's still time. Yeah.
I love to sing, and I do sing, but I don't do it well at all.
Oh, hey. Hey. Well, that's your own opinion. I say just get out there and do it. Join a church choir, join a local choir, whatever. Just get out there and sing. Or just do it in the shower, whatever. Everybody likes to sing in the shower, right?
Yes.
Well, Pam, this has been great. To find out more information about Lancaster PA Notary, you've got your website. I know Chris has had it on the screen there. LancasterPANotary.com. And is that the best way to get in touch with you if somebody wanted to reach out?
Probably the best would be my cell, talk or text, 717-413-7213. And my personal phone and my business phone both go to bed with me at night. My personal gets turned off, but my business phone is always on and charged. And I answer my phone only when I absolutely can't answer it. So, and you will get a response within the hour. That's kind of my commitment, is to make sure that I get back to you ASAP, because a lot of times time is of the essence. So
absolutely, when that phone rings, it's not an eye roll. Oh my gosh, this person's calling in the middle of the night. It's, hey, there's somebody out there that needs some assistance.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, when the biz phone rings at 1 a.m, you know that it's not a telemarketer. So
yeah, exactly. Well, Pam, this was fun. Thank you so much for the time. And like I said, good luck to you and Lancaster PA Notary.
Thank you so much.
Have a great afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Have a great afternoon. Bye.
You too. Yep. Bye-bye. All right. Well, that was a great interview with Pam Witwer, joining us via phone there. Our guest was brought to you by Whiff Roasters. this month's sponsor. We talked about Whiff at the beginning of the show. I just wanted to tell you about them. They have their roastery in Lidditz, up in Lidditz behind the Julius Sturgis pretzel factory. Around the back, that's where they roast the beans. It's worth it just to go in there and like you open the door and like you just get hit with this coffee flavor. Yeah, there it is. It's this amazing. I mean, I don't know how they work there and like smell coffee all day long. It's an amazing smell when you walk in there. But they've got all of their coffees for sale there. They also have what's on the screen there, their cafe at the market at Wilbur, right there on Route 501 as you're heading up through Lidditz, just past the square there on the left. They've got their cafe there. But you can also check out a number of the family-owned grocery retailers. I couldn't think of the word. I almost said restaurant. Grocery retailers to find a variety of Whiff coffee offerings. So Stauffer's at Kissel Hill, Oregon Dairy, the Country Store, Dutch Way Farm Markets, Village Farm Markets, Fox Meadows Creamery, Martin's Country Market, Shady Maple, who's actually a guest in about a month, and Maplehoff Dairy, a number of places where you can get their coffee. So Whiff Roasters, you can get it at their cafe. You can get it at their roastery. You can also come into Gardener's Mattress some more and get your portion pack, your pumpkin spice portion pack. But you can also pick it up at any one of those local, family-owned grocery retailers. There's the pumpkin spice. It's pumpkin spice season. It's kept me awake this episode here, so that's Whiff Roasters. Thank you so much to Whiff for being a sponsor of Lancaster Connects for October. Well, I think that wraps up our time for today. We will forego the sleep tip and the testimonial in watching our time here. But thanks to our guest Pam Witwer from Lancaster PA Notary. It was a pleasure talking with her. If you need her services, go check out the website or give her a call. And again, thank you to our sponsor of this. This week's episode was brought to you by Whiff Roasters, and we're so glad to have them on board for the month of October. So till the next connection, have a great afternoon.